Hey folks, welcome back to another Vibe of the Week where we get to wonder, plan, and explore the week ahead with this astrological forecast in mind. My name is Latoya from Emerald Astrology, and I'm super excited to talk to you about April 14th through the 20th and what to expect. This is a week of bold and heartfelt action with lasting impact. We have Mercury ingress back into Aries, Mars ingress back into Leo, the Sun entering Taurus. And yeah, this is like some really beautiful lineups that really activates this very powerful and proud part of ourselves. So let me go ahead and pull an oracle card for us, and this will be something to keep in mind as we are moving forward in the week. So let me go ahead and pause this. All right, so the card I pulled is Divine Grace, the Law of Efficiency. So I feel like this is really speaking to, well, actually, yeah, Mercury in Aries and Mars in Leo. Mars rules Mercury because it's in the house of Mercury is in the house of Aries, or in the house of Mars, which is rules Aries. Let me go ahead and read what this card has to say. All right, so it says, get back to you. It is time your life became easier. It is time for you to walk the way of divine grace with trust, simplicity, and acceptance. You do not have to try to make things happen. You can gracefully act without attachment and trust that all will be as it is meant to be. Surrender your struggles now as you allow life to serve you with love and kindness. This is the most efficient use of your energy. It will lead to the best results. And I think also with the Sun ingress in Taurus as well, because Taurus loves, also efficiency, being an earth and beauty. So like things doesn't have to be complicated in Taurus. If we could do things simply with ease and grace, that is the best for Taurus. So that's what I'm seeing there. So I think it's speaking to all of those alignments that's going on. All right, so if you want to hear more about the astrology, continue to watch this video because now I'm going to dive into the details. All right, so I had to make another video because I lost the other part of my video. So I just read the oracle card, and now we're going to get into the astrology of this week, April 14th through the 20th. All right. So starting on Monday, we have, or Tuesday, April 15th, because nothing is perfecting or at its peak, any aspects or anything like that on Monday. So we're moving on to Tuesday. The moon here ingress in Sagittarius. So this is a great moon to release ideas that do not support where you desire to grow and evolve. So the moon is waning. And anytime the moon is waning, it's a time of release. It's a time to let things go. It's a time to basically call in the inner critic and cut through the BS and say this is working and this is not. So usually with the waning moon, I would say, and then the critics coming up, listening to the 10% of what the inner critic is saying is important. So it may end up, like, depending on how your inner critic speaks to you, it might speak in extremes, like, you never do this right, or I'm always doing this, or, so always speaking in those extremes. However, because it is not completely true, because obviously you do some things right. Obviously, you are capable of accomplishing things because you've done it before. So being very discerning with how it's speaking to you, what you are taking in, internalizing. But there is some truth to it. So maybe, especially with Sagittarius, and you're thinking, I never know where I'm going. Like, let's say that's what you're saying to yourself, your inner critic is saying. And then from there, it's like expanding upon there. Instead, we could probably turn it around and say, like, okay, I actually don't know where I'm going right now, but I am more than capable of figuring it out. So that kind of gives you more, puts you in a space of empowerment instead of disempowerment. So just paying attention to how you're speaking to yourself and like how your actions are helping you evolve and grow into the person that you want to be is really important, especially with the moon waning in Sagittarius for the next couple of days and a half. On Wednesday, April 16th, we have Mercury ingress in Aries. So this is that speaking loud and being very, present in your words, because this is going to help you have clarity. So Mercury has been here in Aries before this year. It first ingressed in Aries on March 3rd, and then on March 15th, it retrograde. And so it moved back through Aries and then into Pisces. And so there was a lot of reflection going on around our autonomy, our self-sufficiency, what is, the new territory that we're willing to explore, and just reflecting upon just the way that we want to act in the world and thinking things through in that way. And so now that Mercury is direct and it's back in Aries, this is a time to communicate what you want to experience, where you want to take your life in a new direction. So it'll be very curious to look back in your journals, your articles, your journals, your social media, your calendar, your photos, wherever you document your life. It'll be very interesting to look back and see what you were experiencing, and maybe you can even glean what you were thinking around that time and how that is different from March 3rd to now April 16th. And you'll see how much you have grown, especially with that retrograde. Mercury in Aries is also sharing space with Neptune in Aries. So Neptune recently ingressed into Aries on March 30th. So this is where the energy has changed too, because Neptune wasn't there on March 3rd, whenever Mercury first ingressed into Aries this year. So yeah, this is different energy. Now there's probably more talk around our spiritual beliefs or just spirituality in general, how we are working with our dreams, or like dreams are becoming more tangible, becoming more curious about that inner chatter and like what we are believing in and what is our ideals and how are we going to, I guess, how we are seeing our life now that Neptune is there and kind of like putting in its influence on our lives and our perception of life, because Mercury also is the rationalization of like what we see and what it means, or like what we think we see. Jupiter is what it means, but Mercury is seeing and then translating like what are we actually seeing. So Neptune is kind of like blending in and kind of helping us see more possibilities, I'm thinking, especially in Aries, moving into a new territory and then more possibilities and what can that bring for us in the next 14 years. So Mercury is now picking up on what our Neptune experience can be. And that would be really interesting to write down what you are thinking about, what you're perceiving that is new. I think that would be really interesting for you. Moving on to Thursday, April 17th, we have Mars ingress in Leo, and it's now back in Leo because it was it's stationed retrograde in Leo at 6 degrees on December 6th of 2024. So it went back in Leo and back into Cancer, and making us reflect on our internal battles that we have around sharing our talents, our gifts, or shining in the world, and then into Cancer, what we care about, our family, sense of belonging. So after all of this internal battles and maybe even picking fights with people, Mars was helping us do this, and then stationing direct getting back into Leo, we are not able to come out and do the actions that helps us protect what we care about and our creative talents, our skills, and what we are wanting to be seen for, known for, and shine in the world. So Mars being here brings that bold action into this week, and we are very proud of who we are. And like I said, it's the higher expression of Mars here. And Mars, that's where we get a lot of like our energy from. If we are tapping into our interest and putting energy into that, we will get a lot back from it. So think about your interests, think about your talents, think about where Leo rules in your birth chart, and know that Mars is stirring things up here, getting you excited, and helping you build momentum in this area. So you can be known for something special. On Friday, April 18th, we have the moon ingress in Capricorn. Oh, let me say that Mars in Leo will be here for about a month and a half, and then Mercury in Aries will be in Aries for 2 weeks. So let me just say that. Okay, moving on to Friday, April 18th. Moon ingress in Capricorn. So this is a great moon to release the tendency to be overly critical of yourself. So this will be actually nice to support our audacity with Mars and Leo. So, we might have this like overwhelming drive to do something exciting, do something new. And there might be a voice, that inner critic, again, especially that waning moon, and just in general, being closer to the inner critic energy. There might be a voice that's saying, and who do you think you are to do that? Okay. What are your credentials? Are you even allowed? Whatever, however your inner critic speaks, that is illegal. I don't know. So this moon having that energy also with that Mars in Leo ingress, that could be detrimental at times, or it can be very helpful because that can give you more insight on how your inner critic speaks, and you can combat it by still shining your light and proving that you are capable of trying new things and actually could find something that you are good at. So that will be interesting to see, just to be aware of the next couple of days after Friday. That inner critic could be strong, and this is a great opportunity to practice releasing what the inner critic has to say, quieting it, by combating it with the counter argument, doing some kind of bearing rituals. So maybe like you can write down whatever the inner critic is saying, put it into dig it, a hole in the earth, and then put it in the earth and just let it decompose, because Capricorn is our earth sign. So I think that would be really helpful because that inner critic might be a little strong, especially with that Mars and Leo activating that creativity in you. And if you're not comfortable with that energy, that could be very unsettling. Saturday, April 19th, we have the sun ingress in Taurus. Yay, Taurus season. We are here. And this will be about a month. Taurus is the second sign of the zodiac. So it is grounding, steadfast, a sensual sign. It's ruled by Venus, conservative, romantic, and it's basically enjoying the tangible things in life. And so we are now in mid-spring in the Northern Hemisphere, and this could really just help us appreciate what we started in Aries season and share it with friends if we have a little bit of abundance going on. That will be, that's just like the vibe of Taurus. I will actually elaborate on more about Taurus season and the specific configurations that are going on during this season, because that's what would change it up a little bit. So just keep an eye out for vibe of Taurus season video that I will be releasing soon. Next, we have Mars in Leo trine Neptune in Aries. And so Mars will be activating what Mercury conjunct Neptune earlier in the week might have been bringing up. So this is now because a little easier to act on what we've been thinking about. So we can act on these passions. We might be protecting or fighting for an ideal. This is a very active day. So just be careful if you have a day chart or if you were born in a day, you might be a little impulsive here. So if you are that, just kind of question your actions for a little bit or question the impulse for a second. Just pause. If you have a night chart, born in the night, just know that this energy is supporting you and trailblazing a new path in your life that is supportive and supportive for the dreams that you have that Neptune is revealing in Aries. On Sunday, April 20th, Easter Sunday, we have that last quarter moon in Aquarius. And this is a pivotal moment to release old ideas and practice breaking your status quo so that you are showing up in a new kind of way and perhaps even connecting with people that are different from you, but are definitely a supportive group and breaking your status quo and helping you progress in life and in the way that you think as well. Venus also that is in Pisces, also sextile Uranus and Taurus. And this is adding on to that Aquarius-like energy of that innovation, that breakthrough, that rebellious, that needs to change things up. And that could bring about unexpected situations around money, women that are beneficial to you, because Venus has the upper hand, or it could be unexpected gifts from women or feminine types, blessings from technology in general. This is a very nice transit, especially if you're needing that change up in relationships, or just like are open to gifts or new insights from dealing with technology. So like the way that has worked for me in the past, I've noticed a way system works. Let's say like with me being a server, I learned something new about the POS that we use. And I was like, oh, that makes it easier to transfer this card over to this check. Because like, let's say something wrong happened. So learning something new about how your software or technology works, and that just makes your relationships much more smoother or better. It makes sense of how things are relating to each other. Mercury in Aries sextile Pluto in Aquarius, and that adds into that innovative or breakthrough or that rebellious energy. And so that is more, Pluto has the upper hand. So this could be more deeper realizations that allows for open communication, or it would be like new information that is revealed that was hidden at once before, but now it's like ready to come up because it's relevant or it's safe to now have this conversation. And that brings about growth. So that's really cool that all that is happening with April 20th, Easter Sunday. And lastly, then I want to mention the Sun will square Mars in Leo. And this could challenge authority. This can challenge our creative expression due to needing to make a decision on how we use our energy, how we want to maintain autonomy, how we want to protect our ability to our agency, ability to have agency of our life. And so there might be some conflicts with authority figures or just like your own sense of creativity in life and how you want to show up, how you want to shine and bring about stability in your life that is graceful, that is easy, that is also very beautiful. So that is what's going on with the astrology. And just remember, leave space for divine grace and efficiency, because nature's always, or the universe, God, goddess, whatever you believe in, that higher power, that higher order, the higher self is wanting to support you in creating the best life that is possible to you. And the best way of doing it is getting out of the way and allowing grace to happen. So I hope that you have a great rest of your week. If you have any questions, definitely reach out. If you want more content like this or one-on-one readings, I have this wonderful Patreon that has different tiers of offerings. So definitely check that out because that might be something that you need in your life. All right. Well, other than that, I hope you have a great week. See you next time. Bye.